volume 0%.
Good afternoon and welcome to Blind Builds. To help with things on this video coming up, we'll get a couple of terms straight so that I don't forget them and you don't forget them, and it stops me from saying a lot of words that could possibly have just been handled with a shortened word. So when I talk about a block or a brick that is 1x2 studs on the bottom and slants up to a 1x1 and takes 3 bricks high to do it. It goes up 3 bricks. I'm going to call that a very tall slanting in the upwards position. If it's going from 2 to 1, it's slanting upwards. Now, or I guess it would be slanting downwards, but I consider it going upwards because I always build from the bottom up. Now, if it's in the reverse state, a 1x1 that slants up into a 2x1, then that's going to be a tall down slant. So if I mention tall ups, I'm talking about the slanty bits that have only one stud at the top. If I'm talking about tall downs, I'm talking about the slanty ones that have 2 studs at the top. And then I'll talk mids if it's only got 2 bricks in height. So there'll be just a slant 1x2 to 1x1, a tall slant upwards 1x2 to 1x1, and then a medium slant upwards 1x2 to 1x1. Cool. Also for this, what else? Other random bricks I'd like to mention? No, I think that would be it. So let's get into this guy and talk about what I did last time and how I've changed it. So last time in this video, we assembled a cool little structure that was just a couple of bamboo shoot leaves stacked on top of one another by one of these tall slant ups, 1x2 to 1x1s. And well, I reassembled that. And I disassembled and reassembled it because I didn't like how fragile it was. I wanted to make it a bit sturdier. And I took out a few of the bricks and slimmed it down, stacked the bamboo shoots on top of each other with most of the same pieces as before. I don't actually think I removed any pieces. I just made it a little more concise. And then I took the tile that was on top of it, the 2x2 tile that slants upwards from, that goes from different planes of tiles. I put that one over the end of this where I put the bamboo shoots going up to the top, and then there's that 1x1. And that made a nice little 1x2 area where this tile could click into place, and then it would slant up and actually connect to this wall section. And that meant I had to build the wall section up a bit. So what I did is I took a 2x2 brick and I put it on top of that area on the far corner, the edge that's furthest away from the actual corner that this wall is connected to. And then after that, I got a 1x6 bar that's a block bar, and I put it across the back. And to fill out the rest, I got a 1x2 and put it right there, right on the end. So now that's left is the normal structure that we finished with last time on the very edge. That very edge of this 16x16 stud wide square is still like the old way. We haven't messed with that at all. And then I took so let's finish up with this area. So then I took a 1x8 bar and put it on top of the 1x6 in the 2x2. And that allowed for the tile that slants upwards to have something to connect to and create a very sturdy section. Also, I installed a 1x1 that slants downwards into a you know what? That is a messed up thing. I got it backwards at the very beginning of this video. Yeah, and I realized it now. Let's switch those terms, okay? So not to be confusing, sorry for the confusion, but we're going to switch those terms and be a tall slant up is a 1x1 to a 1x2, and a tall slant down is a 1x1 that slants down to a 1x2. Cool. Which means that the 2x2, the 2x1 is at the top, whereas in the slant up, and then whereas in the slant down, the 1x1 is at the top. Okay, cool. So I put a tall slant up right at the edge of this 2x1 bar that was right there by the 1x6 bar that we talked about just a minute ago. I wanted to use another 1x8 there, but I didn't want to. I don't have that many 1x8s, and they're really useful for other things. And this area becomes more stable with the other bricks put on top of it, so I figured it'd be okay to use a 1x2 there. Now, that is all that I've done without you watching. So, that being said, let's get into the rest of it, and we'll start on the far left-hand side. If we have the empty section, not the section that has the graded panels, the section that we made for minifigures to climb up from caves below, we're going to put that closest to us, and then the furthest away corner on the left-hand side for you is going to be where we're going to install these little bits. So we have a tall slant down, tall slant down that goes from a 1x1 to a 1x2, and that's going to be the very corner. We placed that in the last video. Now we have this section here that we're going to install that I have kind of pre-built. So what I've done here is I've put a 1x2 block, and then or bar, then a 1x2 that slants down into slants up into a 1x2. So it's a 1x1 that slants up into a 1x2. It's a very short. And then on the back end, we have a 1x1 that is a mid-range, not 1x1, a 1x2 that is mid-range and stretches up 2 bricks. It doesn't slant or anything. It's just a tall bar, and it's 2 bricks high, so it's a mid one. So we can go ahead and start putting those pieces on because I talked about them. So we're going to put that one right next to this tall slant down, and we're going to then put these pieces here. This is the 1x1, 1x2, and then we're going to put the 1x2 that slants downwards into a 1x1. So it's 1x2 at the top, and then there we go. Is there an encyclopedia for Lego terms? Because I'm pretty sure there's a term for that. If any of you people are watching will know Legos, maybe these slant ups and slant downs, they have an actual Lego term, because it would be nice to have an actual official Lego word for it. Maybe I should get an encyclopedia or something. Okay, so that's them. Now we have, I'm going to take that off, we have a 2x3 that has a tile on it. And it ends in it's got a little tile that slants up. It's a 1x2 tile. So it slants on the upwards plane to be a plate higher. And then we have a 1x1 that has a stud on the side. And it's a regular bar 1x1 with stud on the side. Or I guess you could call it brick. Now that is going to get put right here. Right on top of this 1x2 and 1x2 area. There we go, and that gets there. Now we have this nice little spot. Make sure all of that is flushed out. Cool. Now we have this area that's a 2x3 worth of stud work to do, and that's where these guys come into play. So we have a 2x2 brick. We're just going to put that there. That's going to lock most of the things down here. And now we have a 1x2 that slants upwards into a 2x3, and it's a long slant. So there's 2x3 at the top and then 1x2 at the bottom, and we're going to put the 1x2 in this section here where we have this tall slant down. That's a 1x1 at the top, and we're going to just put that right there, and that's going to connect those two pieces together. After that, we have this 2x4, the traditional brick, we're going to put a traditional brick right on top, leaving an area of 1 by 2 of 2 studs visible right at the edge. We're just going to then put this 2 by 3, this another 1 by 1 that slants up or into a 2 by 3 at the top. And we're going to put that right there, and that's going to give us a nice area. And we're going to move on to the next wall section here. This is the same section that has the bamboo, and that we just finished talking about a minute ago. So let's get little Prime out here. Prime, stand there. Okay, Prime is standing back in the doorway that we've made, and I've disassembled this as best as possible to try and keep as much of what was assembled together, but it's going to be slightly different than the original way I built it because, well, that's just how I roll. Oh yeah, right. I did use this really fun piece, so we'll talk about this fun piece. This is a piece I found that's a 2 by 2, and it has an elbow at the top worth of studs. So 1, 2, 3 studs, but the corner stud is missing. Instead, it's like slanted, and it's got like an edge cut out of it. And I thought that was a really fun piece as part of a cave. I think it was part of a building or something. It feels like it has some sort of texture in there, but it would make for a great piece to go right on the edge there, right next to that. Well, the 2 by 1 tall, that's 2 by 1 studs at the top. And we've also got this bamboo shoot piece. This bamboo shoot piece is going to go over here, and we're going to put it next to these other bamboo shoot pieces, but on a different plane. Now, we could put it there, but I'm actually going to set it on the far edge so that this bamboo can actually slide over a bit and poke Blind Prime in the face. Yeah, where's your hat now, Blind Prime? This bamboo is too low for your hat's protection. I like screwing with my Lego self. So, let's get another couple of pieces. Let's go ahead and pick them up so I don't mix them into this guy over here. These little pieces here. What are these guys? So we got 1 by 1, another 1 by 1. And then we've got this fun bit. All right, I forgot I made this fun thing. Okay, cool. So let's figure out where all of this stuff is going. All right, and I have a feeling that is actually going to be going. Did I spin things around? I did. Let's spin it back around. Here we are. And we're going to be putting this fun piece right there. So we're going to put a 2 by 2 brick right on top of that bamboo shoot we just placed down. We're not going to put anything on the stud next to it so that the bamboo shoot can wiggle around in there. We don't want too tight of a connection there. We just want the bamboo to wiggle around, have a little fun extra play feature, be able to mix things up from time to time. Now we come down over here. We've got so many things we can do, but I know exactly what we're going to do. We're going to find a 1 by 2. Oh, I guess that's what these 1 by 1s are for. So we're going to grab both of these 1 by 1s and make sure that we're not screwing something up, which I don't think we are. Cool. We're going to actually switch up the game slightly. We're going to not use both of these 1 by 1s. Instead, we're going to take this 1 by 2 here, because I think these 1 by 1s would be necessary. We're going to spin it around so that it's kind of sideways. Yeah. And now we're going to put a 1 by 1 right there. All right. Now this piece can go back where it was before. Oh, come on. There you go. And we've got this brick missing. And, it's fun about caves. You can leave bricks missing, especially if you notice an area that you could have a brick missing, and it's not really going to affect anything. This area is a little unstable right now, but with the amount of bricks we're about to put on it, since it's so low, it'll be okay. And we'll have that nice little spot, and that's cool. I like putting little spots that, don't really make too much sense, but are really cool to look at. So now let's get to the rest of this. This bar is actually going to be used kind of last. We've got this and this. Cool. So this is something I built by making a 1x1 at the top that slants down into a 1x2 at the bottom. And then I put it on a 1x2 and brick. And then underneath it, we have a 1x1 that slants up into a 1x2 at the top. And there we go. And it's just those stacked on top of each other, but it make a neat little side piece. And we're just going to set that next to this slant up, this 1x1 that slants up into a 1x2 at the top. And it's a tall one. There we are. Now we have these pieces left. And we're just going to slightly disassemble this stuff so we can actually put it together correctly. We're not going to screw this up. So we have this 1x3, and this 1x3 is actually going to go in this corner area right there. And we're just stacking things up. And now the entire length of this should be on the same plane as this tile piece that was put on top. So the 1x8 that the tile piece from the bamboo shoot area it connected to should also be on the same plane as everything else in this corner now, except for this little assembly we just made and the tall slant up. We're almost done making that even as well. Now we're going to get this fun stuff. So we've got this 1x4, and this 1x4 is going to go right there, and it's going to make it level with the slant up, so it's going to make it level with the 1x2 that we have at the top of that tall slant. And now we're going to put a 1x1 stud, or 1x1 brick on there, right behind this bit that we just assembled with the upward slant, the 1x2, and then the downward slant. Yeah. And now we're going to take a 1x3 that has a slant down into a 1x1. So it's 1x3 at the top and 1x1 at the bottom. And where it goes, it's going to go on the very edge of that 1x4. Now, we'll spin this around for a second. And we're going to install this last little bit. And this last little bit will be a 1x4 that is textured. It doesn't have to be textured if you don't want it to be, but I've got this nice like log cabin texturing and stuff. I figured it would be a nice little texture to put in the background of this area. No real reason. And it just had my fancy. Now we're going to take this 2x3 brick and we're going to put it on the very edge. And once we've done all of that, we should have enough space for this last piece. This last piece is going to go right across. And what this last piece is doing is it's going to connect to the two studs visible on this textured 1x4 and the studs visible on this 2x2 on the very exact other side. And this is a 2x1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, a 2x6. The 2x6 is going to go like that. And now it's all on the same plane, and the plane is actually above Blind Prime's head. Now, we'll spin it around. Now we're spinning it, we're working on the back end. And that means that the area that we just finished working on is on the bottom left-hand side from the camera. Well, camera-wise, it would be, it's my left. My bottom left. The left closest to me is the wall we just were working on. That means the wall directly across. And make sure that I remember where everything goes. That means that you actually belong on this wall. Yes, you do. So you actually belong on that wall, and you can move over here and go there. Cool. So let's get into this fun stuff. This is a wall section that while I'm designing it, I decided I'm going to have this as a section of the wall that has collapsed in the past. There's going to be rubble, and it means we had to have some stud on the side construction. So what we've done is we've got a lot of bars going on here, and it's just going to be easier because there's no real major things happening here yet. So we've got a 1x1 that slants up into a 1x2. And then after that, we have another 1x1 just regular. And then after that, we've got a 1x3. And that's going to be the brickway. So we're just going to install these guys. We're going to put it on the very edge of this cool big slanty thing that we installed last time. A cool piece that I was just like, I have to work with it because I want to find a place for it. So we're going to put that 1 by 1 right behind it. And we're going to put this 1 by 3 right behind that. And now we're going to turn the corner with this 1 by 4. And this 1 by 4 is going to go right there. Slip in. Come on, squeeze it in. There it goes. And now we've made a nice flush wall from this tall slant up bit all the way around. Look at that. Nice and flat. Next line we are going to take a 1 by 1 that slants up into a 1 by 3. We're going to put it on the very edge, the very edge of this slanted up, 1 by 1 that slants up into a 1 by 2. So we're trying to make kind of a broken wall section. Next, we are putting on this, whatever. We're going to use this 1 by 1 that slants up into a 1 by 2, and we're going to put it at a 90-degree angle from this 1 by 3. And that's going to give us a nice little corner we can play with. And after that piece, we are going to then install this 1 by 4 that has studs on the side. And it's got 4 studs on the side. It's going to go right. Wait. Something's not right. Maybe. Did I forget something? Oh, right. I forgot something. Silly me. Okay. I forgot a piece. Forgot that this side also has pieces too. So we've got to turn the corner with this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This 1 by 6 bar. It's going to turn that corner. Oh, 1 by 6 bar. Then we have this 1 by 3 area. Maybe this slanted up bit wasn't yet. Okay, I don't think it was yet. I think I have to wait one round. So this 1 by 4 that has 4 studs on the side actually fits into this area right behind the 1 by 3 that slants down into a 1 by 1. That is stacked on top of a 1 by 2 that slants down into a 1 by 1. So we're getting a nice little angle going. And after that, we've got these pieces. So let's get all these pieces assembled and remember where I put them before so I don't forget again. And yeah, okay, cool. So set those pieces there. And all right. So we've got this. Yeah, cool. We need this 1 by 3. There's a 1 by 3 bar, and we're going to put it right on the top of this other area. So you go from this 1 by 3 that slants up all the way over to the 1 by 6 that we put, and we're just putting it on the edge of the 1 by 6. And after that, we've got this 1 by 2. It's going to go right behind this 1 by 3. And then we've got these pieces in my hand, which we will mess with in a second. Let's bring them over here to you guys and try not to break too many pieces of it. So now we come over here and we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a 1 by 6. And the 1 by 6 is going to go across this corner. It's going to run across the 1 by 4 that has studs on the side. And there we go. Make sure that when you put that 1 by 4 with studs on the side, the studs are actually facing inside the cave block. We want the outside of these cave blocks to be smooth or indented, but never anything poking out. That's going to ruin the effect. Okay, so we're left at the end here with 2 studs just hanging out. And those guys are going to get, here we go. Okay, so that's actually going to go on that side, and then this one goes here. Cool. Now we have these studs hanging out over here, so we've got, oops, put a little too much pressure there. Still got to build it up just a bit more. It is not that solid. So we have this 1 by 1 that slants up into a 1 by 2. And we're going to put it right on the very edge. And then we have this 1 by 1 stud, or a 1 by 1 brick, and it's going to go right behind it to make this nice flush area. Now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A 1 by 8 bar that's going to go across the entire length of this, from the edge of this upward slant. Or actually not the very edge of it. It's going to go from just before the edge. So we're going to leave 1 stud just hanging out there in the open, and that's going to be necessary for later. Now let's spin it around to this side, and we have this 1 by 1 that slants up into a 1 by 3 with 3 studs at the top. We're going to put it on the very edge of this one, and if you noticed, it's going to match the 1 by 3 that's on the other corner that we put there when we were working on that other corner. And these are trying to mirror one another because they're the parts of an archway for this big entrance. Now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, a 1x4, and that's going to go in this place that's 4 studs long. And that's done for that wall. Now we're going to turn the corner here, and we're going to finish up the wall sections with this, which may actually be one of the more complicated sections. I may have gotten a little creative with it. So how did this even go together? Let's figure that out. Boom. I believe that's it. Yes. Yep. Okay, cool. We've got it. We can talk about it. Make sure that we can. All right, neat. So on the bottom, we're going to have to start with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. A 1x8 bar that's going to stretch from one corner, from this next corner over here, the final corner that we're working with today, all the way down to this big entrance area that we're making. So it's actually going to go down quite a bit, but it's going to help stabilize everything in this corner. Make sure that when you're climbing up the ladder, you got no problems. Nothing's going to collapse on you. Now we come over to this corner. Yep, that's how that goes. Cool. So then you put a 1x2 bar right next to that to flesh out this corner. Remember, this corner is a little smaller because we have this avalanche here. And this avalanche took out this corner, or at least we're making it seem like that. Have fun. Now, let me get this piece off. There we go. We've got this 2x3. We're going to put the 2x3 on top of this corner area. And after that, we've got this... Oops. Yeah, cool. We've got this 2x2 that slants upward into a 1x1. I know, it's it's like the exact opposite of that other piece. And that piece is going to go just so. Right? Is that how that piece is going to go? Or not? Oh, nuts. Then they have broken it. Oh, maybe that piece goes below. Yeah, that piece goes below. Cool. So that piece actually goes below to match up with this 2x3. At least I'm assuming so. Now we have this piece that actually needs to go up. So we're going to come over here. We've got this elbow, this nice little elbow. The elbow is going to go right like so. And after the, so the elbow goes on the corner, and then this guy's going to actually fit into the groove of the elbow. Right, okay. All right, I'm seeing this again. It's just taken me a minute to remember. And that means that this 1x1 that has a stud on the side is going to go in this little spot that's a 1x1 stud spot. And then we have this 2x2 brick that's going to go over the elbow that has this cool slanted down section. And that's going to make a nice little slanted down, because we have that 1x1 that slants down to be a 2x2. Yeah, I know, it's wild. And it's a corner. But it's going to make this little shield, so the little frog, it's like giving the little froggy a roof for his little froggy house, in a way. And afterwards, we can put this 1x6 that slants down into a 1x2. So it's got 2 studs, 2 studs on the bottom, or 2 connections on the bottom, and then 6 studs at the top. It's wild. And that's going to go right at that, on that 1x1, and it's going to slant all the way across and over the very edge of that guy. So, that's why that piece was like that. So we're actually going to take this 1x8 off, and we're going to take this 1x2 that slants down into a 1x1. It's got 2 studs at the top. A 1x2 that's got 2 studs at the top. And we're going to put that 1x8 back on, and that's why it was slanted, because it would just be useless right there. But now we've got this nice little broken archway bit. Everything seems to be collapsed. It's cool. All right, we're on the last leg of our journey today. So we have this fun piece here that is a 1x3, but it has all this fun little sideways slant outwards. That's cool. I think they use it in race cars and stuff a lot. But I've used panel pieces that are like this, or little plate pieces that are similar to this, 3 studs long, and then they slant outwards. But this is a bar version. It's thick. So this is going to go right on the very edge right here. We're actually going to slide that very, okay, so that's going to just squeeze it in a bit. There it goes. Cool. And that's going to make the impression of a slanted out little nook for the little froggy to be inside of. And I'm going to move over to these. So next on the list is putting a 1x1 regular. Oh, wait, a 1x1 with stud on the side, but the stud is facing inwards. There we go. And then a 1x2. Now you can decide however which way you put it. You could put this 1x1 with studs facing on the side over there, and this 1x2 here. It doesn't matter the application of the 1x1 with stud on the side. It's just add that little flavor. Now, we're going to come over to this little area here. Okay, so we've got these pieces like this. Okay, alright, cool. So now I have this 1x6, and this 1x6 is going to go across the top area of these pieces we just put down and lock them all into place. And finally, we have a 1x4 and a 1x2 that slants to a 1x1. So there's 2 studs at the top and 1 stud at the bottom. And then a 1x1 that has a hole on one side and a stud on the other. But it's an inset stud, so it's a bit different than the normal types. Now these, so first off we're going to put this 1x1 with the stud on the side as close to this area as possible over here, because we can have some fun with it. And then we're going to put the 1x4, right? So we could put this 1x2 there, and it would connect with this other 2x3 that slants upwards. We could do it like that, and then we could put this 1x4 right behind it, and we're done. We have this nice little archway on this side for a doorway, and we have no archway over blind prime yet, but we have this little archway over here on this other side, and of course we have this archway area, but this is more of built to be kind of a collapsed wall section, as if this was just a regular wall before and then something crazy happened and it collapsed. Because of my rebuild, I ended up saving 1 brick. Save a brick, earn a brick. But yeah, guys, I think that's all for today. Try not to make this video too long, but explaining Legos in a way for the blind to understand it is difficult, especially when you're trying to remember how to do it right. So, have a great day, and tune in next Prime. We will be, on the blind build section, we will be finishing this middle section up with the top layer. Thank you for watching.